guys, welcome to my channel. I mentioned in our last video that we were going to give the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts curriculum a try, and we have, but I wanted to wait until we had gotten a little bit into it. And we're about on lessons 20 on both levels 2 and 3. So my 8-year-old is doing level 2 and my 12-year-old is doing level 3. Now, yes, he should be way beyond that, but he does have some different learning disabilities, and so I had read that level 3 has a lot of good stuff in it, and it's a good place to start even if your kids are older. So he'll do level 3, and I'm sure that he will race through it and move on quicker, but I wanted to say that so far we are loving it. There are some pros and cons. One is that it takes more time for the teacher. It's more teacher intensive. Another thing is there's some little bit of like disorganization in it, but once you get started and find your flow and what works for you, you can adapt it to work for you. We still love Aces Paces. In fact, my older son, who is in 9th grade going into 10th grade, will still be doing Aces Paces. He does a co-op, so all he does at home is Aces Paces and teaching textbooks because his co-op gives him all the rest, and he's doing a language arts through movies this year, so he'll continue on with Aces Paces. But so far for levels 2 and 3 of the Good and the Beautiful, we're loving it. I love that it includes writing, grammar, geography, art. I can't even remember everything, but it's literally definitely an all-inclusive everything you need for language arts, reading. And so I wanted to share with you how we're liking it so far, some of the things I like and don't like, and just kind of how it's laid out. So if you're interested in hearing more about the Good and the Beautiful level 2 and 3, stay tuned. Guys, so this is level 3. It came with these flashcards, which I'll explain to you how we do them. They're not cut out, and we're not really planning on cutting them out. This did not come with it, but I did order it, and it's the handwriting. It's one of the struggles with my sensory processor child that struggles with sensory processing, and so we started all the way back at level 2. And then it came with the course book, and then the course companion, and then it also came with a reader, and unfortunately I think he has that upstairs in his room. But you'll see the one in level 1, which they're similar. It's just, of course, level 3 is harder. So the first thing is these flashcards, and the way we do them, because he is working quite a few levels behind, he does know a lot of these, although this one he was struggling with, but a lot of them he does. So what we do is we just go through about a sheet a day, highlight ones that he stumbles on, and then we'll go back and do the highlighted ones and then start a new sheet. So that's that. Now the handwriting, like I said, it did not come with the program, but we just ordered it because he's always needing work with that fine motor. And I'll show you, it's just, now this is on, since this is only level 2, and they go up a lot higher. And the reason I started him so far behind is he's not doing cursive, and I believe 2 and 3 are printing, and then it turns to cursive. So my plan was to have him do 2 and then do 3. So this is a little easy, and so like right now at the beginning of it, it's a lot of letter formation, which is definitely really easy for him, but it's kind of a good review and reminder. And then as you start getting farther along, you start getting to where they do have sentences, and right here they're just tracing. And as you can see, it gets harder as they go along, to where when they get towards the end, they are tracing and writing the word. So it's kind of like copy work, tracing and then writing the sentence. And I think level 3 is really where he'll get the most, because it's a lot more after he finishes this. Here you're just copying this poem. So as you can see, it definitely advances. And level 3 will be good for him to do after this too, because copy work is always helpful for him. So that is the handwriting level 2. My 8-year-old is doing the same book actually, and I bought those, I did buy separate. So the course book for level 3 looks like this, and the way they set it up is, actually, you know what, it's in the course companion that kind of shows you. They recommend that you read out of your book, which is the one I told you he has upstairs with different stories, for 20 minutes. And you just set a timer and the child reads it. Then you practice spelling words for 5 to 10 minutes, challenge words on the flashcards for 5 minutes, and then just they recommend you set a timer and work in this book, the course book, for 30 to 45 minutes. And then 1 to 2 days a week work on poetry memorization. Now we do it a little bit different. I do set a timer and he goes and reads out of the Good and the Beautiful book for 20 minutes. We do practice his spelling words, which I'll show you there in this book. We do practice the challenging flashcards, although I showed you we do it a little differently. And then we don't really set a timer for the actual course book. But as you can see, it's divided up into lessons. Let's see how many. There's 130. Now the thing that is a little bit strange to me, and I've heard that they're redoing 1, 2, and 3, is some lessons take 5 minutes and some take an hour, which I think that is their idea behind doing 30 to 45 minutes and just setting a timer. What we do is we just kind of work until I can tell he's done. So some days we get 5 lessons done, and some days we get a half a lesson. And it's not necessarily because he's not focused. It could be that that lesson is really hard. So I actually like the way it's set up because I don't feel like I'm forcing him through lessons. I'm one of those people that, you know, oh, we have to finish this lesson today and this lesson tomorrow. And so it kind of helps for me that that isn't there and it isn't something I'm racing through. We just do it until we feel like both of us are done for the day. The only thing I don't like is there's some things in this book where it will say to come back. Like it'll say, you know, read these words for 3 days. But then there's nothing when you start moving on to remind you. So what I've found is I put reminders up here. I write them down and it'll say, go back to page 5 and so there's our lessons. It's hard to, one thing we like about this that we found with a lot of curriculums is every day it's kind of the same thing but different problems. And this isn't. Every day we're doing something totally different. Activities, worksheets, reading. Like over here we're talking about spelling rules, and I usually use either a notebook or a wipe-off board, and we practice writing them. Some more spelling words. So this is level 3, and like I said, starting in level 4, it does come more independent. So this is level 3, and next I'm going to show you my 8-year-old's books. Before I move on, I did find my son that's in level 3. This is his reader, and his level came with 2. So this is the volume 1. This is where he's at, but as you can see, there's the stories. So he's still fairly in the beginning, and they do get more as you go along, longer. And we just time him. He doesn't read like so many stories a day. There's poetry in the back. And this is just his volume 1. So there is also a second volume that comes with level 3. Now level 2, because the levels do not match grade level. They're actually advanced. So here is the level 2 reader, and like I said, his starts really easy. Let's get like halfway, see, and they start getting longer. And his only came with 1, and he's halfway through it already. So he'll continue his 20 minutes of reading, but it'll be books I pick. He also gets to read books he picks, but we'll continue with our 20 minutes reading, but different books I pick, because he will definitely, I mean, we're only on lesson 20, and like I said, he's halfway through this book. So that is the level 2 reader. And here's his course companion, and it's set up, the schedule that they recommend is the same. Spelling words, phonics cards. The only difference is they add practicing your sight word ladder. And then because there's a little less writing in this one than 3, they recommend writing a thought out thank you note 1 to 2 times a week. Here is his sight word ladder. So these for him, we go through and he reads them all, and you're supposed to go check it off once you feel like they've mastered a row, and then they get to color a shell. Then they have phonics cards, which I don't actually have out, but there is a ton. Let's see if I can actually. Now his I did cut out, and they have you put them in 3 bags: a mastered bag, a working on bag, and a not yet worked on bag. And so what I do is we pull out about 8 cards a day, and I put those in our current bag. When I feel like he's really mastered one, then I put it in the mastered, and I pull out a new fresh card so that they're always rotating. And they have sounds and words. So that's the phonics. Back here is his spelling words. And they give you different activities that you can use to practice spelling words, but you'll find what works for you. We like to pre-test at the beginning of the week. If he gets them all right, then we actually just skip spelling for that week. If he gets a bunch wrong, then we focus on those ones he got wrong for the week by writing them and doing different things to practice. Here's his poetry memorization. So like, I am going to have him do the work on the nouns and verbs to memorize. But we won't actually memorize all these poems, and we don't even do it every day. And then back here are some different reading assessments that they have you do. This one you'll time at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, so you can see how much they've improved. This one you do 3 times a year. And then there's one more thing. These are all reading things you can practice, and these are the practice charts for speed. And so he has 60 seconds to see how many of these words he can read. And then you do it 6 different times, and you watch to see his improvement, and then you get to move on to the next chart. So that is in his course companion. Here's his lesson book, the one that we work on, and it's the same thing. The lessons, some take 5 minutes and some can take an hour. So we just sit down and we don't even set a timer. We just do it until I feel like he's done and I'm done. There's 123 lessons, but because they don't match up by the day, I can't say that actually works. I mean, it could take 3 days to do one lesson, or you could do 10 in 2 days. It really, every lesson's different. And I know for some people that's a struggle. This is all the information on how to teach the course. And then when you get started, here's like a match the paragraphs. Here's art and reading. You do write in these books. So there'll be parts where we're supposed to be reading it together. I read it to him or he reads it to me, and timing. And then there'll be pages where he's actually writing. They also have, like I said, geography. Let's see what happens as we get farther. There's the page he's on. He loves, is this one of them? He loves the reading timings. I don't know if all kids would, but he definitely likes it. And he likes to see if he can improve. There's also stories in here aside from the level reader. They say you don't need these level readers, and they don't go with the book, so you honestly do not need them. We bought it as a set, and we don't mind the readers, but you don't need them, and they don't match up to this workbook. Also, you can pay a lot less and get the PDF and print these out yourself, but for us they're not that expensive, and it was just cheaper to have them sent and already binded, and the binding is really nice, so I don't regret that at all. And because of that, we bought it as a set. And he's also doing handwriting, but I didn't pull his book out because it's the same. So there's more reading. Here's some diagramming sentences. This is about literature. Some spelling rules, bats versus bird. I mean, this includes really it's a very complete language arts. So like for him, he is doing, here's editing the story. He is doing this for language arts. He's doing, my older son's doing teaching textbooks for math, and my 8-year-old is doing Horizons. He'll start teaching textbooks when he gets into 3rd grade. He also had some more Explode the Code books to finish, so he's doing those at the same time, and he'll be done with. He only has like 3 more. And I just wanted him to finish so that there's no gap. So he's still going to finish those, but once he's done with that, really that's all we'll be doing for language arts. I like to add in some writing, sometimes some extra writing. But this does include everything. Now for the summer, all we're doing is language arts and math, but I am going to, in the fall, I'm planning on purchasing their history curriculum and possibly their science. I haven't decided yet, but definitely their history. But because we're not going to do it in the summer, I'm waiting till fall to buy it, and I will definitely let you know how we like their history. I've heard some good things about it. We've done Story of the World, but I'm definitely interested in trying their history. So that is Good and the Beautiful Language Arts Level 2. Well, thank you for watching. Let me know if there's any questions that I didn't answer. Just leave them down in the comments, and I will promise to get back to you right away. Like I said, we are loving the Good and the Beautiful. We did Aces Paces before. We've done Route and Staff. We have done Growing with Grammar and Winning with Writing. We've done, like he's doing Explode the Code right now, and like I said, he's going to finish those books along with this. We've tried a lot, and we like them all, some more than others. But so far, I'm really liking the Good and the Beautiful. But I think for most people, it's all going to come down to time. And I like to have a subject that I sit one-on-one with them with. And because for my kids, that's not math. I mean, I do sit down when they need help. This is kind of that time for me where I can really watch them writing, and especially my younger ones. My older one is still going to do Aces Paces, and in fact, he's still, we're not going to switch him to the Good and the Beautiful. When I looked through it, it looked like one of those things, the high school curriculum, like maybe it would have been better if he had been doing it younger. So my younger boys maybe in high school will do it, but my oldest, we're just going to keep with Aces Paces. Plus he is doing a literature through movies in his co-op, and so it would just be probably too much. He's also doing teaching textbooks for math, and besides math and Aces Paces for language arts, he gets the rest of his in a co-op, a high school co-op. So let me know if you have any questions, comment down below, and thanks for watching.